All right, good morning, Rabbi Sai. I don't care where we are. We're in the epicenter of Corona, COVID. I'm the only one in the sukkah without a mask, I hope. Unbelievable. We're in Iraq Kodesh Borough Park, transmitting live. Rabbi Sai, we are going to show the sukkah in a second. We just got back from Muncie. Unbelievable turnout in Muncie. We had people from all over the place. Actually, Dovie Spitzer drove in 2 hours from Lakewood. The Mack brothers from Passaic. Who else? Dr. Listhouse from Allentown. 2 hours to get to Muncie. It was beautiful. Beautiful turnout. Yossi Klein from Superior Plumbing. And the guy's a celebrity in Muncie. People, they're doing new construction there just to get their plumbing done by Yossi. It's like you have to wait months to get him. So it was a beautiful, beautiful turnout. This is like a whole, they put me on a stage. This is Rebish. Rabbi says, Mamish Rebish, you got to see. Here, let me show you what's going on here for a second, real quickly. This is our friend, Yisrael Goldstein. Avrumi Leibovitz. Shalom Aleichem. Enoch. Of Kraus, everybody. The whole island is here. It's unbelievable. Okay. We even have Israel Shalit, otherwise known as Shalitsky. And Joey! Say hello to the Oilo. And we're in a sukkah. We're outdoors in a sukkah. So they say it's not really outdoor, but it's blowing like crazy. You'll see soon that it's pretty outdoorsy. Okay. So, tonight's shir, sponsored Lili Nishmas Imi Ruspas Mordechai, dedicated by Sonny Alawani. Look at this, Rabbi Yisai. That's him. From the Party Rental store. From Brooklyn Party Rental, in honor of finally meeting the most clear, enjoyable, entertaining, inspiring Rav. Eli, you changed my life. The Gemara says, that those blonde children. The Gemara says, Shkoyach, where is he? I changed your life for real? Maisa Shahaya, you want to get up and say why? That's a different time. Okay, no, a different time. I don't want to put him on the spot. Tonight's shir is sponsored by a very, very quiet individual. You probably have never heard his voice, especially if you're on Zoom. You'll never hear. The guys in Bar Park love you, Avi. Wow, look at that, a Spiesen in the background. Unbelievable. Okay, it's a lot better than like some other non-Jewish actor or something. Okay, I love it. All right. In honor of the birth of Yoni Nagler's son yesterday, Yishkoyach Avi Mandelbaum. So if you ever want to go on Zoom before the shir starts, you'll be entertained by Avi. He's the voice of Zoom. Sponsored by Jonathan Alstein. In honor of my birthday, Rabbi Yisai, you can honor yourself also. You don't have to wait for your wife's birthday. In honor of my birthday, today, Chof Tishrei, wishing my parents, wife, and children much health, bracha, and continued atzlach in Yiddishkeit. Ad Mea Ve'esrim. Also, wishing refuah shlema to Bobby, Zissel Bas Sarah, and all of Klal Yisrael. Amen. All right, you got this? Givaldik. Quick email. Because I grew up just a few blocks away from here in Iraq Kodesh, Kensington. We're not going to say. I didn't grow up in Borough Park. I told you, I lived in Borough Park for one night. One night. My father moved from Far Rockaway to Borough Park. I don't know what happened. We could ask him. And they packed everything up and moved back to Far Rockaway for a few years. My brother, he just built a house, literally a few houses away from where we grew up on State Street. So, very, very interesting. It's telling me I need to restart my computer. I hope it doesn't restart in the middle. All right, so dear Rebelli, this is from Moshe Hirsch. He wrote me this email a while ago, but he just had a baby yesterday, so we'll read his email real quickly. First of all, thank you so much for being an amazing shir. I was imagining doing the daf with the mazalas by myself. A few people wrote in about Daf Nun Vav. You remember Daf Nun Vav with the mazalas, and it was just recent. It was the day that I had to do 3 shiurim, so that was also very interesting. How long would it take me to figure out just the Pashup Pshat? What you did was amazing, somehow making everyone come out with an understanding of the daf. I'd like to humbly argue with the Reb Eli from Chicago who says you don't need to understand the Gemara if you're doing Daf Yomi. No, I said a joke. I said, don't let the pshat get in the way of the daf. That was like if people in Chicago, because in Chicago they have a lot of interesting questions. I think you noticed. So if I didn't have a good answer for them on the spot, I said, don't let the pshat get in the way in the daf. Let's go weiter. All right, because we make sure we do understand it. And then he goes weiter over here. A couple of days ago, we learned and there's a whole. Oh, he's saying about Reb Chaim Shmulevitz that Shisha Miskasim Talis Echad. Everybody gives the other one the talis. That's why I have a room, and this is so true for the shir, the chever, the achtos, the ahava that everyone has for each other. It's unbelievable. Seriously, in Muncie tonight, I mamish feel like I know you guys. It's unbelievable. It's unreal. And by the way, no, I'm your big celebrity here. Don't spend. Yeah. The other one's talking about. They want you to come back for round 2. All right. So it says like this. The feelings are mutual. Okay, thank you. I have an older single sister. I decided, somebody came over to me and said we should do an initiative, a shidduch initiative. We have, here's someone with a single sister. We have a bunch of guys. We should try to make an MDY. Why not? No? Rabbi Isai. Mark Steinberg needs a shidduch for his son. Rabbi Pressman, the guy that presses me to do the Chumash here, has an amazing son. So here, I have an older single sister. I decided to make a Shmir Salashon. What's a group for Schos? I'm not on the MDY chat, but I asked someone to post it on the chat. He could have said, no, you're not on the chat, but he didn't. Rather, he posted it, and some people actually joined. People I never spoke to. Not only that, but one of them asked me, what is she looking for? Trying to help. Again, someone I never spoke to before. Really, shir is a replica of yourself. The only reason why this shir is so much achdus. He gives me a little covet here. Yishkoyach. Thank you, and may we only see simchas. And then, sure enough, he had a baby girl yesterday, so he said we had a simcha. Everybody should have refuah, Yeshua. All right, Rabbi Isai, you guys ready? Daf Samach today. We're starting for Daf Nuntes Amud Beis. 2 lines from the bottom. I better drink this before the bugs get in here. That was close. Hold on. This guy likes fancy wine. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. L'chaim. I already made a leishev. Everybody's worried about the leishev. According to the Gra, you make a leishev every time you go into the sukkah, no matter what. So yesterday we were talking about ladders. What does a ladder function as? Is a ladder, since it gives you the ability to climb a wall, so do we look at the wall as if it doesn't exist? Just get right over the wall. Or no, you have a wall. So the Gemara says it depends what you want to use it for. You decide if it's lekula, you can use lekula, lechumra. Says the Gemara, Rav Nachman did Rav Nachman really say that? Rav Nachman Omer Shmuel, Anshi Chotzer, Anshi Mirpeses. You have a chotzer and you have a little porch. They have these kind of buildings. I don't know if, here probably in Bar Park, I don't know if they have it really. But you have like exterior doors. You have it in apartment buildings. In Chicago, definitely have it. In the Midwest, a lot of these, it's cheaper to run because you don't have to whatever. So you have a staircase here and you have a porch up here. This is a mirpeset. And here's the chotzer. Down here is the chotzer from Kol HaShon. Every picture is the same. Color is off. We're going to get somebody to fix it. Maybe somebody actually could mess around now while the green doesn't work. I don't know why. Can't get green to work. Fine. So if you have a chotzer, you have a mirpeses, and what do you have over here? You have a staircase. We'll call that a sulam, a ladder. Why not? Anshe chotzer, anshe mirpeses, shachachu v'loi ervu. They forgot they didn't make an eruv. Meaning, they made an eruv for themselves. The mirpeses guys made an eruv, the bottom guy made an eruv. They didn't make one general eruv for all of them together. Im yesh lefonel dako arba. So we spoke about a dako yesterday. It's unbelievable. We're learning all these new concepts and shas, things we never knew about before. There's something called a dako. It's like a low wall. You might even be able to climb over it. Here, I put it in red, just to help it out. It's the Kol HaShon did it, but I couldn't see it clear. Little guy over here. So if you have a daka, eno iseres. So then, the guys on top don't bother the guys on the bottom. The guys on the bottom don't bother the guys on top because they're separated. Look, they have a little wall called a daka. This separates them. But if there's no daka, vimla voiseres. Wait a minute. What's the isser? What's going on here? Because since they have access to each other and they didn't create an eruv, in order for people to carry from one place to the other, you all have to have a sheet of mavais, a sheet of chatzeres, a eruv chatzeres. There's no eruv chatzeres here. So it's as if one of the guys in the chatzer didn't make an eruv. They all live together. So what do you see? That this ladder, this staircase is ruining for us. You don't pick and choose like Rav Nachman said. Rav Nachman says, if I want to use the ladder and consider it a Pesach, it's a Pesach. If it's not a Pesach, now all of a sudden I don't have the choice. Sagt die Gemara, I don't know if I have a picture, didn't bother printing it, but the point is that this is lower down than 10 tefachim. And therefore what? Therefore it's all considered one. It's one, the mirpeses and the chatzar are one because they're within 10 tefachim of each other. So forget about the ladder. Even without a ladder, they're one rishus because they're within 10 tefachim. And if they're one rishus, they ruin it for each other. Since they don't have one eruv, they ruin it for each other. The upper guys ruin it for the lower guys, and lower guys ruin it for the upper guys. So then what good is this wall, this little daka wall? Says the Gemara, okay, another case. It's also 10 tefachim, but also look at this. Here's a mirpesa that has a nice railing going on. And over here you have an opening. Up till 10 amma. The kiv in the Ovid daka is taluk. So this opening would ruin it for us, would create access from one to the other. But now that I put the daka up over here, the daka down here, therefore it closes it off, and the upper and the lower are two entities. Rabbi say you could ask questions, as long as it's better questions than we're not going to mention. I mean, Yoel asks really good questions, but the rest of the Ilam over there is just whatever. They're not used to it. I'm telling you, Chicago's a different city. 7 o'clock, all the restaurants closed down, everything is closed, you can't get food. So they're not used to being up after 8 o'clock. So the guys that came were mamash tzaddikim. Fine. Zok the Gemara. Omer Rabbi Shmuel koisel shir tzafay b'sulamos. What if you planted a bunch of ladders up against the wall, like in this picture over here? Afilu biyosem eser, you have more than 10 amma. Toiras mechitza olav. It's considered a mechitza. So we don't look at it as breaching and able to climb over and able to do it. It's considered a mechitza. It's considered, the wall still exists. Forget the ladders. Ramilei, Rabbi Roiner Rabbi Yehuda b'matzarto. Rabbi Roiner asked Rabbi Yehuda when he was in the wine press, the Vei Rav Chanina and Rav Chanina's wine press. Mi Omar Shmuel Toris mechitza olav. Does Shmuel really say that a ladder is not considered an opening? I don't care that I could climb over. V'omar Rav Nachman Omer Shmuel, Anshi mirpetzes v'anshi chatzes shachav v'lo yirvu. Our case, nachamol. So Rabbi said, this is every Magachir's dream. Couple of lines, freebies. We're just repeating. We're doing chazar now. Anshi mirpetzes v'anshi chatzes shachav v'lo yirvu. You have the case where the guys in the top made an eruv. The guys in the bottom made an eruv, but they didn't make an eruv together. They forgot. If it is a little wall, then they don't answer on each other. But if not, they are also. What about the sulam? You have a sulam here. Now you're telling me, a second ago you said a sulam is a mechitza. It's considered a wall. So if this staircase is a wall, they're not connected. You're telling me it's not a wall. You're telling me that it's access. I could get up to the top from it. It's like they're one into. So which one is it? Says the Gemara, it's good to have chazar. Now we're understanding it better. The mirpeses is lower than 10 tefachim from the chatzar, therefore it's one. Forget the sulam, it's one without the sulam. Says the Gemara, so what? What do you gain by having a little wall there? Says the Gemara, it's wide open. We had it in the beginning of the Sefton. Remember the wall, Mgufefes, Gifuf, wide open. There's a breach in the wall. There's a breach in the railing, and maybe that would create achtos between the upper level and the lower level. Says since you put that red little wall, now they are very, very different. Fine. We have the privilege right here in this Gemara. The Gemara is going to take us on a little trip through Abaya's head. Usually doesn't happen. The whole bet is how he thinks, how Abaya's thinking, back and forth. Maybe it's like, no, maybe it's like that. Mamish, the whole, it's unbelievable. It's a privilege. Says the Gemara, Hanu b'nei Kukonye, the Asul Kabed Rav Yosef, people from the city of Kukonye, they came to Rav Yosef, the Rebbe. Give us somebody that can make an Eruv in our city. Omerle Abaya. Omerle la Abaya, says Rav Yosef to Abaya's Talmud, Zil Arevlu. You're the perfect guy for that place. Make sure that you do a perfect job and they don't come with tightness later on. Ozal, it was interesting. This morning I was learning with my chavrusa on the phone and I showed Yedidya. I said, I can't. I remember we just had something like that. He said, do it. And he said, yeah, look on the side. It says Avodah Zarah. Now it's very embarrassing. Every time it's an Avodah Zarah and I don't remember. I did it 40 times. Garnished. Couldn't. And then he started telling me the sugya, mamish, word for word. And then it started coming back. Yeah, there's a similar sugya over there where the Rebbe told to do it for the city. It was a zavat, and he tried to do it one way, but he messed up at the end. He thought he's going to get away with it, and they came yelling at him. So over here, the Gemara says, Rav Yosef told Abaya, be careful, I don't want any tightness later. Give them an eruv that even the briskers are going to use. Azal chazalahanu bate de psichel nahara. So he noticed that there's houses up against the river. Maybe I should put this over here. It's mamish nice and windy, the corona's not here. So here's the city, and here are a bunch of two houses. Their access is to the river, but guess what? They're locked out of the city. They can't get back into the city. They have no way to get in. You see, houses on the river, but not going into the city. So now Abai is thinking to himself like this. We have a city, and we learned if there's a Rosh Hashanah in a city, you have to make sure to make a hecker in the city. Don't do an area for the entire city. You have to leave a little bit on the side that doesn't have an area, so people remember the Rosh Hashanah. Azul Chazal Hanu Badi B'Sikl Nahara Omar Hani Levis Shir L'Masa. That will be the shiur. Shin Yud Vav Reish, not shiur of a. That should be the leftover, what we put on the side as a hecker. Hoda Omar, here he goes. He starts cheshbeni now in his head. Hoda Omar says Abayit himself, Ema Arvim is kulotnan. Says in the Mishnah that you shouldn't make an eruv for all the houses in the city. Miklal, so I could be medaik, a very simple deal. Di boyelo eruve matzim arvi. Don't make an eruv for every single house in the city. Meaning, if I want to, halachically I can, but don't. Oh, but these houses I can't make an eruv. How can I include these two houses, these vacation homes, with the view of the ocean, together with this Nebuch city over here? They're not connected. Look, they're locked out. Here's the wall of a city. He makes a nice little picture here, and here they're in their own little chutzner going on here. How can I make an eruv here that will work for them? Elo. Oh. Says Abai in his head, let me make them some windows. I'm going to knock on the door and say, you have to make windows. Because I need you to be able to be yoytza through my eruv, and I'm not going to include you. Why? Because Rav Yosef said so. Rav Yosef says you do. We even had, it was a while ago, we had, Rav Yosef said line up in the desert. I think it was Rav Yosef, no? Whatever Rav Yosef says goes. So I have this mansion on the water, I'm all excited. Comes Abai, knocks on my door, Reb Yid, you need to open up windows this way, towards the city. Why? Kacha. You gain zero out of it. You're not going to have an eruv. But in order for the city to gain, and then I'm going to exclude you. I'm going to make an Eruv in the whole city, exclude you. You have the right of passage into the city because you have windows. Gewaldig. Oh, and he's going back. It's unbelievable, Gemara. He says, no, it doesn't work. Why? Loi boy. You don't need windows. The you guys are going to remember this. I'm going to show you the picture. You'll remember the sugya. He made an Eruv in the whole city of Mechayza. And in the city of Mechayza were these large pits that people used to throw their date pits into so that the oxen could eat. Gas stations throughout the entire city. Over there we're discussing. I took this picture from what I had back then, and it still had the red lines on it. Kitzer, they closed off the doors there. I don't know what we're talking about back then. Now we're talking about something else. He made every one of these. You see, these are mavois. 1, 2, 3. Each one is a mavoi. And something very interesting in this picture I didn't notice back then, but the Gemara brings it up here. He said each part of the city is going to make their own eruv. Oh, well, then today we're saying gesher. Well, you looked at the sugi beforehand. A different magachir, Efsher? Huh? I thought we learned only one magachir. Yisrael Goldstein learned the shir already. He learned the daf. It's noirvayim. Uncle Phil says no. He gave you the thumbs down. All right, fine. So each little neighborhood over here made their own eruv. Why? Because when I make an eruv here, nobody's going to get confused. There's a shir over here. These guys are left out of it. And when I make eruv over here, these guys are left out of it. Kitzer, it works out. Now, that would be funny if it rains on us, no? It's not supposed to rain, okay. Because it was raining in Muncie. Where were we? It was raining. In Faraka it was raining, okay, fine. Even if they wanted to make one giant Eruv together, isn't that the same case as us? You have this two little mansions on the water who cannot make an Eruv with the rest of the city. And Abai thought it was a problem. He said, open up windows. You don't need that. They should be able to make... That's a shear. These guys, the mansions are a shear, and this big city is a shear, and that's it. That's the hecker. That didn't make an Eruv for the two houses. And then he's thinking to himself, he says, no, not a good raya from a chayza. In Mechayza, there was a way to make an Eruv for everybody together because they had bridges that went right over these pits. You see how beautiful Kol HaShon did here? It's another $10,000 picture. I'm saying the book cost him $1 million. You have to make a cheshbon how much each picture cost him. It's in the thousands. Each picture's in the thousands. Here are the bridges. So Melai can make Eruv, but by us, in our case, where the mansions are on the water, they have no access to the big city. There's no bridge. Hilkoch na'avdin kave, therefore I need to make windows. Hodar Omar, I didn't count how many times he's going back and forth there, but it's amazing. Hodar Omar says Abai himself, no. Kave na'amiloi boy, not true. I don't need windows. Dahu beitivno, dahavalei lemar, this Rabbi Sai is the name of the year, I think. His name is Pupadisa me Pupadisa. Okay, so if anybody has a Getzel or a Sprinter or whatever that's complaining about the name, it's not like Pupadisa be Pumpadisa. What's your name? Shalom Aleichem. My name is Pupadisa me Pumpadisa. On the side, they took away the whole fun. They said maybe his name is Bar me Pumpadisa. Fine. We're going to ignore the side for now because it's a Gevaldik name. So Pupadisa had a storage facility for his wheat. V'shaviyei shir lePumpadisa. And they used, even though it's not a residence, it's not someplace you live in, it's just for wheat. They used it as a shiur. They said, this is a great hecker for the entire Pumpadisa. We are going to make an Eruv in Pumpadisa, and we're going to leave out the silo on the side, and that's the hecker for everybody to know that the Eruv, that this is a Rishus Harab. Omar, Hainu Domar Limar, Chazid Eloi Mitzavches Alo Bebei Midrasho. Oh, now I understand what Rav Yosef told me. Be careful that they don't come to yell at me. Taisa says, You could say different. Tosfos holds that the pshat is, I almost made them create windows in their mansions, ruin their walls. Oh! Rabbi say, you got to see this. Hold on. Here, turn this around. The Baal Mechaber Nigan, it's all about the Yomi. That's a pretty shvacha mask for such a big, giant yellow suit. David address, Shalom Aleichem. All right. It's all, you know what, if I knew that you were wearing that, I could have worn my Cafe Bastella pajamas to this year. All right. Purim. Be'ez Hashem. Zog the Gemara. Yeah, it makes sense. Make sure that you don't cause damage to their houses, that they come yelling at me, says Rabbi Yosef. Zog the Gemara. It says in the Mishnah, Elam Kain Asa Chutzala Kir Chadasha. So, if you have a city, according to Rashi, 600,000 people go through the city, you can't make an eruv for the entire city. You have to leave 50 houses on the side, like Ir Chadasha, like a new city. But it doesn't mean new city, says the Gemara. Tanya Rabbi Yehuda. There was actually a city by the name Chadasha. And there was 50 residents, all types of people, the Hasidim, Litvaks, Sfardim, Ashkenazim, all types. And I'm saying that because, well, obviously the Achtos part, but maybe not Goyim. Maybe Goyim are not included, that's the Shiloh. Anoshim v'noshim v'taf. Oh, there were Chabatskers. Anoshim, you get the joke. Anoshim v'noshim v'taf. Ubahoyu misharim chachomim v'hoysa shiur. That was the what's the word? This is Bar Park. I don't know if I'll get the word, but you know. That's the sample city. That is the what? Prototypical. Bar Park. You see the fancier words than you guys came up with. No, okay, fine. That's a good one. Prototypical. That was a prototypical city. You go based on that city, you say Chadasha. Not new, but Chadasha, the city of 50 people on the side over there in Yehuda, and that's it. Great. Zog the Gemara. Ishkoyach Avrumi. I got it.
Model, Eli.
Well, oh, yeah, that was the word. That was the word I was looking for. Yeah, that was the model city. Ishkoyach. Yeah, thanks. No, they came up with it. So, did you get it off the chat?
Dvir. Yeah.
Okay.
Over here.
Okay. Yeah, that was the word. Thank you. It's very annoying when the word doesn't come, Okay, the model. That's the model city. But Avrumi Leibowitz is the one that came up with the prototypical, and I want to thank him in front of the whole Olam. He's the brainstorm of the Siyum idea, of Siyum Shabbos, which was off the charts. Everybody agrees it's off the charts. Maybe 500 locations, I don't know. It wasn't 100. It was 500, there's 500 people on Zoom and YouTube at the same time, so it could be there were people within the locations, but anyways, many locations. Yishkoyach Gadol Moed. It was a beautiful idea, and you have to up it for Eruvin. We only have what? We have 40 something days left. All right. So now, Frekti Gemari Boilu. Chadasha Mao. What if the city has 50 people? Chadasha Gehechad Dei have a shiur l'gdoila. So what about Chadasha? It's the shiur for the larger city. So could you carry it? What do you do over there? Says the Gemara, Gehechad Dei have a shiur l'gdoila. Just like it uses its purpose is to be the hecker for the large city. Gdoila have a shiur l'ktana. I mean, we just said that over here. That's the same case in Mechayza. Each one of these mavuis is a shear for the next mavui. So they help each other. I help you. I'm the shear for you. I'm the hecker for you. You're the hecker for me. Says the Gemara. Ella, that wasn't the question. Kein chadasha ma. What if you don't have a large city next to you? You're only a small, tiny city with 50 people. What do you do then? Rav Huna v'Rav Yehuda chadam are bayashir. Even though it's only 50 residents, it's a small little community, it's a developing community, you need to leave one or two guys on the outside. No, you can't be part of the Eruv, unfortunately. And the other one says, you don't need a shear. We don't know exactly who says what. So this is machlokes. Reb Shimon says you don't need 50 people. Don't exclude 50 people. All you need is you have 3 courtyards, and every courtyard, as we know, in the Gemara time, every courtyard had 2 houses attached to the courtyard. That's the halacha. You don't need 50 people to exclude, just exclude 3 courtyards. I argue on Reb Shimon. I say 1 chutzner that has 1 house. Exclude 1 person, not 50. Says the Gemara, chutzner achas, so kedaitach. So the Gemara, I just jumped. But the Gemara understood, chutzner is without a house. What's a chutzner without a house going to help me? It's without a person. Okay, we're talking about a house. 1 house. Did he make it up himself? His own logic? Or he got it by Gemara, he got it by Kabbalah from somebody. He learned it. What's the difference? We know that halacha is like Reb Shimon. We said, we paskin. Rav paskin, halacha ki Reb Shimon. So who cares what Reb Yitzchak, he got it from a Messiah, or he made it up. It's not enough community to us. We're not passing. We're going that you need three chatzeros, not 1. Says Gemara Gemara is marta tehei. What do you mean? What's the nafkamina? I should just learn Torah with like a song and not know what's going on. I want to know the svaras behind everything. Shine. Ben Chanal says over here on the side that is actually Gemara. Okay, he got it. B'Mesar. Says the Mishnah. What are we doing on time here? I don't have a clock. 47. What? 47. Oh, 47. Mishoya b'Mizrach. The guy was standing in the Mizrach. That's the simple pshat in the Mishnah. You're standing in the east. He tells a shliach, he tells his son, Arevli b'Mayrav. I need you to go set me an Erev on the west. Or he was in b'Mayrav, Arevli b'Mizrach, go to the other side. What if he could reach his house 2,000 amma? And that's a chiddush, because even though he wanted to set an Erev, we don't say that his house is batal. He already said, okay, we should probably cover this if you want it to be kosher. Because a lot of these, drink it at your own risk. Because in my cup, just that 1 cup, there was like three different flies. Not anymore. Oh yeah, it's in my cup. You see? B'kitzer. All right. Zok Gemara, as it says the Mishnah. So, right, we had a sugi like that you once you decide that my Erev is that way, then you're ready. You're mevatel das. You don't care anymore about what's going on behind you. Joe Pollack, Shalom Aleichem, good Moed. How you doing? Los Angeles? Where are you? Beautiful. All right. If he can reach his house, great. And his Eruv is past, it's further away. So he can go home, but he can't go to his Eruv. What if what if it's the opposite? He's able to reach his Eruv, but he can't reach his home. It's more than 2,000 am. You put your Eruv in the outskirts of the city, past the wall of the city, but there's another house. There's a high school over there. Now the house, if it's within 70 amma, 72/3, is part of the city. So Mamela, the Eruv anyways, regardless of where the Eruv is going to start from that house on. What does this Chacham do? He puts his Eruv closer to the wall than the house. It's not past the house. So did he gain anything? 0. Because anyways, he has 2,000 amma from that little high skilla and on. So what is he putting Eruv? What good? If I put an Eruv in my house, do I gain anything? No. I could go from my house 2,000 amma anyway. So he puts the Eruv by the wall of the city. I could go 2,000 amma. So this is Ibura Shalir. It's the same difference. The houses that are on the outskirts of the city are part of the city. Now if he put his Eruv, afilu amma achas, even 1 amma past the tchum, mashen niskar hu mafsid, he shifts his Eruv over. I'll explain in a second, but we just turn to Daf Samachum Beis. Sponsored by Mark Steinberg, who in his chus will do, Be'ez Hashem will start a shidduch initiative. We'll get some names together. The Olam will get together. Noam has a lot of girls, and the Olam has a lot of boys. B'kitzur, we'll get something going. Be'ez Hashem, right? You guys are going to help, no? Okay. Avrumi will come up with a whole plan, and it'll be gewaldig. Shidduch.
Send me their resumes.
Send on the resumes. He's working on a big one. Rabbi says he's working on a big one, I know. Trump will be proud of this one. Yitzchok Pesach Yehuda ben Meir Yosef for Zivug. And by anonymous, Hatzloch in Yiddishkeit. Amen. And a schus for his family to be Torah Jews.
This one is harder than the peace process.
That's Shmelke. Shmelke! Come here, Shmelke, come here. We got to give at least a Corona show afterwards. Okay, fine. Where do you come from? Far. You just flew in from somewhere. All right, so... I go through this, Rabbi, I go through this every year, by the way. He mumbles something from the back, and he expects me to understand. Okay, fine. By the way, I'm not kidding. I'm not making this up. We're in the Lincoln Tunnel. He looks at me. I think you have to take over. I'm like, here in the Lincoln Tunnel? I'm not exaggerating. He gets out of the Lincoln Tunnel. He pulls over. Take over. It's like, didn't you come from Eretz Yisrael to drive me? I became his driver. Finished. I'm not joking. I drove from the Lincoln Tunnel here. But he has something to say from the door. Come rein, Yeshua. What are you? Anyway, I wanted to do something with this, but nothing happened. This was supposed to be green, by the way. It turned out blue. If this is my Eruv, this is my Mokum, and I move my Eruv, nothing happens. I just shifted. Where am I allowed to go? I'm allowed to go 2,000 this way, 2,000 this way. But the amount of Amma that I have are the same. The Eruv, all it does is, it says, I don't live over here. I live over here. Okay, so now I could go 2,000 Amma in that direction. But all I'm doing is I'm shifting. So Masha Niskar Mafsid, that's a simple understanding. What I gain on one side, I'm going to lose on the other side. I won't be able to go those Ammas on the other side. But we'll see in the Gemara a little bit more. Says the Gemara, let's just understand the plain simple understanding. The Mishnah. Are we talking about that his house is between him and the Eruv? So he is to the east of his house, or he is to the west of his house, but his house is always separating him and the Eruv. Says the Gemara, that doesn't make sense. I could understand that he's too far away to get to his Eruv, but he's close enough to get to his house because this house is always between him and the Eruv. So it's always possible to get to the house before you get to the Eruv. But how do you get to the Eruv before you get to the house if the house is between him and the Eruv? Doesn't make sense, says the Gemara. Yeah? You understood that the first year? Okay, good. Zog the Gemara.
Basically, his house is blocking him.
You need to tell me. Now is your turn to say, that's not how he explained it.
So basically, his house is blocking him.
His house is not blocking him. His house is in the middle. Here.
So he can't get to it without...
Oh, if I have a picture, why not show it? The Gemara understands, here's his house. He's in the Mizrach, his Eruv is in the Ma'ariv, or he's in the Ma'ariv and his Eruv is in the Mizrach, but his house is always in between the two. So I understand that he could walk to his house is closer. But how in the world could he get to his Eruv before he gets to his house? If his house is always in between, blocking, call it whatever you want. Says the Gemara. I understand, you get to your house. How is it possible? The Gemara says, no, you didn't understand what Mizrach and Ma'ariv is. We're not talking about the house. It's not that the house is in between him and the Eruv. Loi, Mizrach b'noi, Ma'ariv b'noi. He's just to the east and the west of his son, and his son could place the Eruv any direction he wants. So His son placed the Eruv where the Eruv is closer than his house. His son placed the Eruv where the Eruv is further away from his house. Fine. So that's just simple understanding of the words in the Mishnah. Rava bar Rav Shilo amar afilu temel lemizrach beisoy, u'lemayrav beisoy. You know what? He is to the east and the west of the house. The house is. Oh, Shloimi Klein, this is insane. The ganze Mishpacha is showing up. Imagine you're sitting in Sukkah, and your sister from Florida shows up, and your uncle from Muncie, Mamish. It's unbelievable. It's unreal. Mamish, I'm serious. I'm touched. Shloimi, I just mentioned the Gemara. It says Anoshim Noshim V'Taf. This is a Lubavitch Daf. That's what I said. Okay, fine. Zog the Gemara. So, what's Rava's trick? Rava has a little trick. He says, no, you know what? We're talking about the house. The house is to your east, the house is to your west. But it's on an angle. It's a triangle. And Memela, it's possible that you are closer to your Eruv. Let's say this is a Chveis, 2,000 Amma, but this is 3,000 Amma. And the house is to your east, or the house is to your west, whatever. That's his little chap. The point is that Mizrach and Ma'ariv is not referring to sun. It's like the pashtus of the Mishnah. How you would read it, Mizrach and Ma'ariv is referring to his relationship to his house. And his house is always either to the Mizrach or to the Ma'ariv. But it's possible that even though his house is the Mizrach and Ma'ariv, he's closer to the Eruv than he is to the house. Okay. It's on an angle. We just have to fix this up a little bit. He didn't put his Eruv out of the Tchum, because if you put something out of the Tchum, you can never get to it. It's out of the Tchum. You don't have the right to go there. He put it right outside of the city limit, outside past those houses that you have on the city limit. Masheniskaru Mafsis, and now the Gemara just explains that last piece of the Mishnah.
How would you want to go back 1 amma if you step out? If you have like 1 amma, if you step in 6 steps.
Yeah, 4 ammas. You have 4. Your body is counted as 4. So we said you start the 2,000 amma past your 4 little box. According to Rebbe Lezi, you have 2 amma maybe. No. Zog the Gemara. Masha niskar mafsid. So when you place your Eruv, whatever you gain on one side, you lose. Says the Gemara, Masha niskar v'suloi. So let's say I gain an amma. I don't lose more than that. Vatanya, hanoisen es Eruva b'soichi bura shalir. If I placed, our Mishnah, you place the Eruv right outside the wall of the city, but it's within 70 amma of the city, let's say it's within where you have those houses. Lo yosef alei klum, mamish our Mishnah. Nesani chutz li bura shalir, and if you placed it outside of the Ibur, afilu amma achas, past 70 and 2/3, you put it 1 amma, mistaker oisa amma, you gain 1 amma in that direction. Umafsid is kala ir kula. You lose the entire city. Why? Let's see if I have a picture here. The point is, I remember doing something here. Let's see if this is good. Just 1 second. I don't know. Maybe not. So, okay, here. Show it to you anyway. This is from the Art Scroll, from Mesorah Heritage Foundation. I haven't used them in a long time. We have Rishos, but I colored it a little bit, so maybe it's not from the Art Scroll. Okay, the idea is from the Art Scroll. This is the city right over here. It's 400 amma, let's call it. You put your Eruv to this side of the city, so the person's tchum goes 2,000 amma in this direction. You get all the way to here. And 2,000 amma in this direction. So you get 1,000 here and 1,000 here. This city, we're going to see in a second, doesn't count as anything. That's 4 ammas. Now, if you're in the city itself, you get 2,000 amma this way and 2,000 amma this way. So what the Gemara is saying over here now is that you lose the city. You don't gain the length of the city. Because you stepped out of bounds. You stepped out. Since you went out of the city, You don't gain, you don't have anything in the city itself. We're going to understand this in a second. You can't use the whole city as you can't walk it. Says Gemara loy kashu. What's going on here? If you if your 2,000 amma ends smack in the middle of a city, this is where it ends. So when you get to your 2,000 amma, that's it. You can't go anymore. But if your city is swallowed in, it's within the 2,000 amma, then we don't count your entire city at all. Then your city is considered 4 ammas. So in this picture right over here, since it's a small city, we don't count it. So Memelo, your 2,000 amma from the Eruv doesn't include the city. You see, you get 1,000 amma plus 1,000 amma plus 400 amma. The city is 400 amma wide, but we don't count the city. Why? Because the city is within your 2,000 amma. Here's the Eruv. If you count 2,000 amma, the city is included in that 2,000 amma. So then I don't consider anything. The city is only 4 ammas. It's garnished. Kilo, the 400 turns into 4. So I go from here, 2,000 amma, ignore the city. This case, this is a giant city. So the city is not included in 2,000. It can't fit in the 2,000 amma. So Mamela, I stop short at where my area of my 2,000 amma stops, and I don't get to take my city and condense it into 4 amma. You hear, Rabbi Yisrael? There's no maximum size. Whatever fits in 2,000 amma. Up to 2,000 amma. If your city fits into 2,000 amma, poof, it gets nothing. Then you start from the outside of the city. Every city, you start from the outside of the city. You start from the walls of the city. But you're not in the wall, you're not in the city, so you can't start from the walls. You're already outside of the city. So Mela, what do I do with the city? How do I look at the city? If the city fits in within your 2,000 amma, then I condense it and I make it into 4. But if your city is very large, then I have to stop short, which is a very interesting halacha. We'll see a little bit more of it tomorrow.
You can still walk within the whole city.
No, up until this point. Look, I made a little line here. I enlarged the line. See, up to here, shalom. You cannot go weiter. This is within your 2,000. Here's the Eruv. You go 2,000 amma. When you hit 2,000 amma, stop short. Stop short. Why? Because it's a large city.
You get the 370 on the other side?
The
370 ammas.
you get 2,000 amma on the other side. You get 2,000 amma this way.
But when you start counting again, you count from 70 ammas past the city or from the city?
You mean is the 70 amma here, the Ibor and all that? Okay. Too complicated of a kasha. What time is it? 104? It's Shachar's time in Eretz Yisrael. Okay, fine. We're almost done here. This is a sheet of Rebidi. If he was measuring and he got his 2,000 amma in the middle of a city, he can't include the whole city in his Eruv. But if the 2,000 amma reaches to the end of the city, then you shrink the entire city into dalet amas and it gains tremendous. From there on, he finishes the rest of the 2,000 amma. We don't count anything in the city as part of his 2,000 amma. Let's do 2 more lines. Omer Avidi. Ein elu elo divri nevius. Now, how do you understand? What does this mean? If you just reading the words. Ein elo divri nevius. In other words, it sounds like a gnai. Like, he made it up. What is he? Ruach HaKodesh? Where did he come up with such a thing? However, Tosfos says it's literally Ruach HaKodesh, that he did get it Beruach HaKodesh. It's not making fun, it's actually a shvach. Something like this, you get Beruach HaKodesh, you can't make it up yourself. Mali kolsa b'chatzir, mali kolsa b'soifir. Logically speaking, it makes no sense. Unless he got it from the Rebbeinu Shalom himself, he got a ruach that told him to that this is pshat, but common sense it's not. Why would I make a difference between if you finish in the middle of a city, you finish at the end of the city. Why would I condense a giant city and make it into nothing on the one hand and not do it on the other hand? Rabbi say, have a wonderful, wonderful day. 1 minute. What are we doing tomorrow? I have no idea. We'll talk about it after Shir Malis. Let's do Shir Malis for a second. Shir Malis, Mamakim Kosich Adonai. Adonai Shema B'Kalil Yisrael Godach Adonai. Yima V'Shmo Yadrim Yamoy. Kimcha Slichol Limanti Vorei. Kivisi Adonai Kivson Avshil V'Cholti. Nafshil Adonai Mishimrim LaBoiker Shimrim LaBoiker. Yachei Yisrael Adonai Kim Adonai Chesed V'Arbei Moifedos. V'Ivdei Yisrael V'Kol Avnei Sov. Achei Kovetz Yisrael. The boys have one good niggin. We're in Bar Park. What are we gonna sing? No, good niggin. I said.